Got it. I think that's good.
Can you put them out? Like, does the...
Hey, this is a conversation with my friend Kerry Hammond. We met at Harvard's Girls Impact the World Film Festival, I believe at the end of 2012. I was a participant and she was a student organizer. And Kerry just moved to Los Angeles 2 months prior to this conversation, and where I was staying with her in LA. She just moved from SF when she was in financial tech and is working as a data analyst at Hulu. Her dream is to be a film producer, and we get to talking about moving and changing careers and how you make that transition happen while still being responsible. And she has certain life circumstances that play into her decisions that I find hugely inspiring. Really glad that we could capture this on tape for you. I'm curious what you think, and enjoy our conversation.
People are now moving to SF for jobs they've already signed contracts for. Mm-hmm. But I think in LA, almost everyone here who's working as a barista, or working as a waiter, or working as other type of like flexible work, Uber driving, like hustling, whatever it is, everyone's working on something. Mm-hmm. They're working on something else. Remember our Uber driver the other night? Wasn't he like talking about how screenplay he was writing?
He wants to do a prequel thing.
Yeah. How normal it is to be side hustling is what's different here. Because in tech, like the people who side hustle are like the hackers, or people who are like coding up like different projects, or really young enterprising new grads who are like, I want to have a company right now. Here it's so normal to just be working on some creative passion project.
So how has that culture affected you?
I definitely don't find myself motivated when everyone around me is complacent. Like I love the hustle, I love the hunger, and like grit. Grit is really what gets me going. I think that's how like I've survived so far. Certainly like moving and taking risks and jumping. Like I've said no to bigger risks before, one too many times, and then I told myself no more. I'm not going to say no anymore.
When did that point happen? That no point of no more.
Well, my dad died last year.
Yeah. Wow. I didn't know that.
I don't really talk about it.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Often.
Yeah.
And I went to his service, and he was also sick for a long time. So this wasn't, for me, it wasn't like so deeply shocking. But I went to his service, and the service was basically like a slide reel or a photo reel of like 3 to 4 dozen pictures, and then I sat there watching it, and I'm like, is that it? Is that a life? Is that what a life is reduced to when it's done? 3 to 4 dozen pictures. And then I said, not my life. And that was when I decided, I was like, I'm not going to say no anymore. I left my co-founder, who I was working on a startup with, and I decided, no, I can't do this right now, like financially or for whatever reason, because I need to help my family or be there for them. So I need to stay with a day job. And she quit her job, and she's still running it, and it's amazing and inspiring, and I wish I could, but at the time I couldn't. It was not the right decision. It wouldn't have been responsible. I then got a Fulbright fellowship to go do research at a business school in Thailand, and I said no to that because I, for whatever reason, I was like, I can't do this responsibly, like it wouldn't be the right thing for me or my family. The guilt that I would feel after having done it would outweigh the the fulfillment, I thought, at least, like if I projected into the future. But then when I started thinking about how do I get close, like I've always loved movies, I've always wanted to somehow work in the industry more substantially besides working just in the festival circuit, and then doing like the tech day job and having film be like the passion project. Well, I was like, well, streaming has changed this completely, because streaming has brought together both what I do professionally and what I do passionately, and it could allow me to do both. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna like do this. This is the most methodical way I could think of possibly taking this risk. And yeah, so
wow, I did not know that. Thank you for that.
Yeah, there's a book called When to Jump, and it's like kind of about similar themes. Like the point being, there's really no right time to jump. I'm getting into it now. Thank you. Like, how can you live your dream but at the same time not be reckless? Yeah.
Like, I think you can have both.
It feels hard.
How do you think about that?
I always make excuses about, I can't quit my job, or I can't do this, or I can't do that, because financially it's not responsible. Like, it's just not comfortable. And then I started thinking, I was like, will it ever be comfortable? Like, short of some massive windfall, truly massive, will it ever be comfortable?
Right.
And I think the answer is no.
Right. I'm pretty sure too.
I'm pretty sure it's no. But how did I think about like methodically taking a risk?
Yeah.
So my dad has passed away. My mom lives alone, and my sister's in college, so she's a freshman. And I do everything I can to support and take care of them. So I'm sort of like their sole support. And as a result, I feel like I'm optimizing with like 3 people in mind all the time. And
including yourself? Got it.
And what I had never done until now was I'd always been like in the thick of the situation. So with my mom and with my sister, and like they were always up close and personal with me in my life. And I didn't realize how much that was affecting my decision making. So would I have done something different with the Fulbright if I'd been out on my own and like thinking about, well, what do I want? Like really deeply, what do I want to do with this opportunity? And I don't know if I would have, if that, would have played out differently in hindsight. But what I do know now is that it's crystal clear to me that at the time living in SF with my family completely clouded every single judgment that I made. But it didn't allow me to think through like risk taking in the same way that I think I can now with the power of distance and like additional perspective. Life is short, right? You get one. And what are you going to do with it?
Yeah, and it's funny because we were talking last night too about moving cities and which city. And when you move cities, your existing relationships don't just disappear.
Right.
I think that's always been my fear. It's like I'm going to move away, and it's like the phone is always there. The opportunities, if
FaceTime is there.
The FaceTime is there. If some kind of opportunity did come up that you want to work together, moving again is always or traveling, or even for a couple months. Like there's just it's not some kind of end all be all decision.
Yeah.
That I have been feeling about moving recently.
Right. The door is not closed.
Right.
I don't think.
This was a couple nights ago, but you said, and I relate to this too. Like at one point, you're kind of thinking like, yeah, money is cool. It'll come when it comes. And then recently you're thinking more, having some money would be good. Like a nice comfortable. So how do you think about money and all of this?
Well, I don't think money can bring happiness, but I think you need to choose to be happy. No matter what, whatever the situation you're in is. And I get that not all situations are happy. But happiness is not money is not going to buy you happiness. You can be the richest man in the world and choose to be not happy. But I think money does bring peace and security and peace of mind. And I think that right now, rather than looking for I often think of things in terms of, can I crush this problem with money? And I think that was probably the wrong framing to use. Like, crush it with like, just like take a lot of money and just like, can I solve this problem? Can I buy it off?
Okay.
And
like your personal life or work or either?
Mostly personal. Okay. Yeah. Mostly like just family. Yeah. My life has always been about giving myself away to other people. And I'm really looking forward to the day that I'm just living for me, giving to myself. Buying myself my nice car, or my nice house, or whatever it is. Money, I think it's a tool to an end, right? So that whole thing about peace, right? Like I think if I can get to a place where we have complete peace of mind, that's the place I need to get to. And then everything after that is incremental.
Yeah.
Because I think for me, success, I want to be successful. And for me, that's going to be like, winning Best Picture or something like that.
Is that where your eyes are set?
Oh, yeah. I remember I was watching the La La Land acceptance speech, and then of course they got like escorted off the stage, right? Because Moonlight won. But I'm watching this and I was like, I want to be that guy. That guy's so gracious. Yeah. And he's like, thought he just won the biggest award of his life, but he didn't. And then he steps aside. Like, I want to be that person on that stage. Ideally with the award. Ideally with it. But, but hey. Or even we always talk about Participant. Participant's such an amazing production company with an incredible storytelling voice. Their voice and tone is so unique. Their treatment of history. Purpose-driven, take on the human condition or human history. I think I'm right now trying to figure out what that brand is. And while I'm figuring it out, I think it's totally fine to be working toward that financial peace of mind. And I'm doing that in parallel.
Yeah, I've thought about that too recently, is you can have both, I think. You can be financially secure, independent, also chasing your dream. It's not going to happen tomorrow. It might not happen the next day, but I think in a lifetime you can have both. How do you think about envy? We were talking about this as well. What role does that emotion play in decision making?
Envy is a very clarifying emotion. I think I told you this story. I saw my friend post a picture of buying her parents a new car, and it just ate at me so much because I was like, I want to do that. Why can't I do that? Why haven't I been able to do it? Is it because I'm not successful enough? Is it because I'm not achieved enough? Because I'm not wealthy enough? In that moment, I was like, that was the kicker. That was like, I guess, right now money is more important than someone holding up their, like award for something or rather. Oh, I'm like on a Sundance selection this year. Like that, I'm like, oh, okay, keep talking. But I was like, that.
Got it.
And I didn't know that about myself.
Yes, until you felt it.
I didn't know I was so focused on that incremental financial achievement because I think I'm getting close to there. I can see the light.
Oh, cool. Good.
But I'm not there yet, certainly. And I think in that moment I felt both behind and maybe some amount of shame or embarrassment that my peer, so someone who's my age, was able to do this, but I couldn't.
Yeah.
My sister is always complaining about being compared to me, so I guess I'm the reference point. I work in an environment where I have a different background from everyone else, so it's hard to compare me to anyone. My roommate and I are insanely different. My friends who are down here, we all do very distinct things, like working anywhere from like studio lots to going to grad school to working in truly in tech. And I think comparison was much more salient in SF, where the environments were more homogenous. It was much more homogenous, and obviously there were different types of jobs. Like some people were software engineers, some people were business analysts, some people are in operations or client facing roles. But the businesses themselves are all shaped similarly. Like there's a cookie cutter that everyone's using, and best practices and all that result in really similar outcomes professionally for what the end employee is doing. It was a lot easier, I think, to compare ourselves to, I'm at this company doing XYZ, and then my friend is at that company doing ABC. His equity is like that, her equity is like this, my comp is like this. What's going on? But it's way harder to do that now. There are good things to that too, right? Like obviously it makes the job market really competitive, and also helps ensure that people aren't getting screwed on their salaries or whatever. For me, like, diversity is the spice of life. I never wanted to be around like the same type of people. Got it.
Actually, first of all, do you have a role model, whether that the person or not, someone that you look
that's a good
to?
question. Honestly, I really like Elon Musk.
Okay, what is it about him?
He's a purpose-driven founder.
Yes.
He's like, unless I am doing X, no one is doing X. Like, unless I am building rockets, no one else is building rockets. Unless I'm trying to go to Mars, no one else is trying to go to Mars. And that is insane to me. I've been really passionate about how do we use tech to help the industries that need it most. And that's like heavy industry, shipping, freight, logistics, oil. Tech. Why isn't tech playing in these fields? And I know why. I mean, for venture capital, it's high capex. It's risky. It takes a lot of money up front, hence high capex, to see any return, maybe decades down the line. No one wants to invest in it. But this is where tech is going to be most important, not in a consumer app. Don't you think the autonomous delivery of goods and services into remote jungles in Laos is going to change the world? Imagine dumping a cell tower in the middle of the jungle. That's going to change the world. Suddenly we're going to have cell service. Or the ability to autonomously deliver goods, services, people to their businesses, places of residence, like whatever it is. It's not going to change one thing. It's going to change everything. Suddenly we won't need parking in the middle of the city. The car can go stay somewhere else.
Right.
Or like we can truck things across. We can truck things across the ice without risking human lives. Like it's going to change everything. But somehow entrepreneurs don't want to play there. But Elon says, no, we have to. If you don't know what you believe in or what you want or what it is you stand for, then people will tell you what to believe or what to want or what to stand for.
And I think a lot about what is that unique thing that only you can do, and try to minimize the amount of time spent on doing activities or tasks that other people could be doing.
Yeah, the whole very brief discussion we had about routine last night, that, I mean, routine has actually scared me a lot, and I think that's why maybe producing or entrepreneurship appeal to me, because you get to work on a lot of different things over the course of your career. You have so much diversity in the type of work you do. You know, whether it's creative, like, oh, we're always working on a different project, or if you're a serial entrepreneur, or I guess if you're Elon, you have 2 companies at the same time. Routine has always scared me to death. Like the idea of being a sheep on the train.
And just...
Yeah. Or on the hamster wheel, right? If we want to get even darker about it.
Is there a time that you were afraid to do something and you realized that you, after the fact, you didn't have to be afraid at all?
Yeah, moving.
Yeah.
You know, that's how I felt about moving. I was like, oh, it could be a disaster for my family, for my mom, and, you know, the world's gonna go up in hellfire and all this bad stuff is gonna happen, but it was totally fine.
Yeah.
If anything, it's been more of a lesson to my mom, even, to show her that, you know, we can exist without each other. It's okay.
In the same space, anyway. Yeah,
and it's okay to do that.
Yeah. I think we can wrap. I think that's pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah, is there anything else that you'd want to add?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
There was a lot of stuff in there to unpack.
Yeah, that was good. Well, listen, thank you for doing this.
This was awesome.
I'm super...
I feel totally awake now. It's amazing.
Oh, good.
It's amazing.
Good. Yeah, we're doing this right before she's like, well, I guess you're not driving away to work, but on any other day...
I'm going to park my car and go to work.
I am so glad I know you, and I'm glad that we got to spend this time together the past couple of days.
The feeling is so mutual, my friend. Come back anytime.
Yeah, you're just like... I feel like I have you in my corner, or like, I'm definitely in your corner.
Oh, so I am for sure in your corner. It's
nice to have these people who you just, you know, there's so many questions about what to do next or where things will end up, but it's just nice to know that you have people who are in it with you. So thank you.
Yeah, we're on the same team. We're all rowing in the same direction.
Cool. Is there anything that you'd want to add?
This guy's awesome.
Oh, thank you. Cool. Let's cut that now. Car therapy. Thanks for watching. If there was a aha moment or something that we talked about that struck a chord with you, I'm really curious what that is, so leave that below in the comments. Subscribe for more videos. If there's something that you think a friend of yours or someone important to you should see, send this video their way. And otherwise, enjoy the next one. Thanks. This is a cozy car. I don't know if I'm liking the light hitting me like this.
Hang on. Should I move forward?
Maybe, yeah.
Because I think